coming up on this episode of the Spiro podcast.
But each of our developers every day has one big thing, nothing else. And I'm like, don't worry about anything else. Literally just try to do this one thing, because if you do this one thing, it's the highest priority thing to make the product better. It will certainly move us forward instead of getting scattered across a bunch of stuff.
Welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magrum.
Hi, and welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Craig Magrum, host of the podcast, and with me each and every week, our founder and owner and co-host of the podcast, Todd Kivimaki. Welcome, Todd.
Craig, it's another great week here. We are picking up steam. Lots of exciting things happening. I know I've talked to many of you out there as well, and you're feeling the same thing. So we've got a great guest on the podcast today. So, I mean, I'm pumped. I've got a lot of coffee in me, so everybody watch out.
I had my Celsius, so yeah, I'm not quite jittery, but I'm right on the verge. No more caffeine for the morning.
Good.
Anyway, so I kind of changed up the intro. I kept it short and to the point. But if you are a brand new listener or viewer of the Spiro podcast, you're maybe wondering, well, what is Spiro? First of all, what does that even mean? Todd, what is the word Spiro for those that might not know?
Yes, Spiro is Latin in meaning to breathe. So when we tried to name the darn company, it was so hard to name it. I mean, every name's picked out there. So you look, I mean, we're flipping through books that were like 6 inches tall looking for words. And we came up with Spiro, meant to breathe. And we're like, hey, that's what it does. It allows you to breathe in your business. It's the gears that run that help you grow and scale. It's how we scaled to over 12,000 jobs a year. And it's what, just what you need. If you've got a gap in systems, you need something that works for you. That's what Spiro does for us.
There you go. Thank you. Appreciate that explanation. All right. So speaking of Spiro, software to help you manage and grow your business, what updates do we have this week? Because, man, they just keep rolling along.
Yeah, the team has been busy. So we have a 2-tiered update coming up. You all are going to get an update next Wednesday or it's probably this Wednesday for you. And it's going to be a lot of behind the scenes stuff, setting some other things up. And you're going to notice a few things here, and I'll give you release notes. But the big one is going to come about 3 to 4 weeks later, where we're giving you a brand new marketing toolkit from the ground up. You're going to have beautiful flyers, postcards, things like that. But also you're going to have video inside the marketing content, which is going to be great. We've heard it from a lot of you. Your clients will be able to export a little MP4 that they can upload to all of their social. Gives them a little more reach, gives you the ability to educate them, just to keep them sticky in your system. So we're excited about that. And we're going to try to couple it with at least one new property website template. Working on it now. So we have a great cadence lined up now that we're going to give those to you, maybe quarterly. We're going to fill out those templates. I know some of your clients never look at them and some of them do. So we want to turn a little attention to those. So those are some 2 big things coming up here in the near future. Very
cool. And I know last week's episode, 1 or 2 of the comments on the YouTube channel mentioned, they would love to see more property website templates. And so perfect timing for that. And for those of you wondering, yes, we do read the comments that you leave on YouTube. And Todd, I'll just as a quick aside, you'll get a kick out of this.
Oh yeah, please humor me.
There were votes for me playing drums at the next either rep conference or PMRE. So
okay, Craig, do you realize what you just told me? I didn't read those comments yet. Craig,
I had to pass it on. I got to be honest, with my boss, right? Anyway,
if you all want to see Craig.
No.
In Vegas. We won't take him to Old Vegas. I forget what it's called. The old that is not a
off the strip.
Whatever Old Vegas is. But we'll keep you in the nice part of town. We'll keep you away from any of the individuals that walk down the street. And we're going to get you a drum set right there, a little tip jar.
I'm gonna busk. I'm gonna busk in Vegas. There we go.
If you want to see Craig in Vegas on the strip with a full drum set, just give a thumbs up down below. Say yes. Give me flames or fire or something.
You know what? I'm not going down alone. I'm going to call out a couple of fellow industry people here. Did you know Brad Edwards of Dallas Real Estate Media?
Yeah. What is he a sing?
He's in a band. He plays guitar,
Okay.
and actually, he and I actually kicked around the idea. I think it was his idea. He said we should get a rep photographer band together, because you got Brad, you got myself, Michael Burke. He's in a band as well.
That's right.
Plays guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if he sings or not. We need a vocalist. That would actually be that'd be kind of fun. I don't know how we practice. Anyway.
Yeah. So if anybody's a vocalist, let us know in the comments below. And this is going to be big.
Oh, that would be funny. Okay. we have a guest to get to. A very special guest
we do.
This week. You all have seen a lot of talk in the Facebook groups and on various forums about the latest cutting edge move in our industry in the field of editing, automatic AI photo editing. Well, we've got a very special guest this week that is I would call him the leader in this. Todd, I'm going to let you introduce our guest, and we're excited this week.
Yeah. So this is an individual who I've gotten to know well. We actually went to the old strip, whatever it is. He'll tell you what it's called here in a second. But we spent some time together in Vegas, been talking to him for a long time. And I didn't know him prior to Real Estate Media. His story is incredible. You all connect with it. He's a real estate photographer as well. He owns a real estate photography company. And we looked at all the AI stuff out there. We've looked at some of them for years. And he and I talked. We talked in Vegas, actually. And this thing is now, the work he's put in has been incredible. It's come down to focus. There's some lessons to learn there. We have launched it with our real estate media company. We're sending 50, 60 plus jobs a day to it. We flipped a switch. It went out. So we are processing everything with it, and it's been incredible. And I think it can be incredible for you as well. We're going to talk about some history, ask him a few questions, and then also, maybe what's coming and how to integrate it into Spiro. But I'm excited to announce Matt Gia onto the podcast today with AutoHDR. Matt, welcome to the podcast.
I appreciate the kind intro. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's been good, working with you and your entire team. It's really cool having you send all your jobs through AutoHDR now. When we were first talking, it was kind of just an idea, really. And so it's cool to see it come full circle for you as well. For my business, I use Spiro as well. So having it fully automated is really like seeing the vision come to life is, very fulfilling for me. So yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah. We had been sending a lot of jobs your way, but literally last night we sent everything. We were finally just done. We had enough problems with one of our editing teams that the quality just wasn't there. And we've worked with this team extensively to try to fix these problems. And we were getting worse and worse images. And then another one of our editing teams, one of the individuals had some health problems. And so we were able to relieve them of the jobs, because I think we sent over 56 jobs. So, sending a team that many jobs is a big responsibility for them. So it was relief for them. And it was just like popcorn. I was sitting at home last night, like refreshing the screen, seeing, the listings page as those images came in. And it was really cool to see. So we'll get to maybe some more of the inner workings. But Matt, I love your story. I think our listeners will love your story. I love the pivot you took. Do you mind just giving us an idea, maybe what got you into real estate? Maybe give a little bit about your background, because I think that's important. So your schooling background, but then why did you pivot into real estate photography? And then you pivoted into this adjacent market with AI editing. Yeah. Can you just maybe give us your story?
Absolutely. So I always loved making videos. Really, and you probably don't know this, but in high school, I was competing in freestyle trampoline. So I would travel around the world. Actually,
that's cool.
Yeah, I was doing freestyle trampoline. It's this weird niche sport, but I made videos, like compilations of, doing tricks and whatnot when I was very young, and I got into video and photography and video editing, right? So even for that, I was doing speed ramping and all the stuff we do for real estate. So I was working in a mooring field, like in Anchorage in high school, like, you know, hauling up anchors and working this hourly
Wow.
job. And I think like everyone else who gets into real estate photography, I was like, how can I work for myself? And so my one skill at the time was shooting and editing video. And so I happen to be from this little island called Nantucket where there's some nice luxurious houses.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a family friend who's a broker, and he's like, "Hey, you should shoot one of my new listings." I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what that means, but I'll do it." And then I did it. I made the worst video ever, but I made $150, which was, at the time, like 10 hours of work. So I was psyched. And then I started emailing every agent, trying to do video. And then because I'm from an island, no one had set up shop as a real estate media company there. And so HDR photos didn't even exist on Nantucket 5 years ago, which is a very luxury market. So
Wow.
I learned how to shoot photo as well, shooting the photos, editing the photos, staying up till like 2, 3, doing that thing when you first get into it, managing the emails, trying to grow, doing everything until I kind of started offering like a full service real estate media business. So drone, floor plan, the whole thing. And then, so that was when I was around like 17, 18.
Wow.
And then I was going to college. So freshman year, when I was going to college, I couldn't shoot. And so I had to figure out how can I like remove myself from the business, where I considered not going to college and just shooting real estate full time, because that initial earning potential is attractive compared to what you're making in college.
Sure.
But I was like, okay, over time, I don't want to limit myself. So I basically was forced to have to replace myself. And so actually my high school photography teacher ended up being like our first shooter. And so when I went to college, she would shoot like after school, and I kind of trained her up on video and all that stuff. And I learned to outsource editing, and started listening to people like you and Eli talk about, you can have someone as well. Like I got a virtual assistant managing the email, and I started building my systems, and I got on Spiro, automated booking. And at that point, it actually became a business where throughout college, I, had people shooting, had my time back, and could just focus on growing it where I wanted to grow it. And then during college, I was studying machine learning and programming. And so afterwards, I basically had to, I was graduating last May, so around a year ago. And it was a really big question for me, do I want to go and do this full time? Because whatever I do, honestly, I'm just very like obsessive about. It's all I think about, and I just want to think about it and work on it all the time. And so I'm like, do I want real estate media to be my big thing that I do for the rest of my life? Or what do I want to focus on? I had this idea about AI photo editing. I knew that with some effort, I could probably achieve it if it's all that I wanted to do, but it really was a choice between those two things. And so ultimately, I decided that I wanted to put all my effort into trying to solve photo editing, whether or not it would work. And so, one of my friends from college, I hired to run the real estate media business.
Nice.
I said, I am moving across the country, and I am not going to check my email or text or anything after this date. Daniel runs the business. He's doing a great job. But when someone's never run a business like that, there's a learning curve. And I was like, I'm willing to sacrifice lack of growth, or even really that business going under, worst case, so that I can pursue this. And so that's what I did. That was about in really, full time in August. And so, here we are now with AutoHDR live. Yeah.
That honestly, Craig, that blows my mind. Like it really blows my mind. The amount of just the speed you took. And I think the thing that I think about is I think about just the focus you had. And I think about the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. And if you haven't read it, it's worth reading it. And I I listen to a lot. I don't read a lot. I'm an auditory learner. I know you can get the audio books, but it's worth reading it. That's a book I've read multiple times.
Hmm.
And if you are owning a business, you probably are if you're listening to this, or you're thinking about owning your own business or real estate media business, a lack of focus will kill you, your business, the people around you. It will make you unhappy. And it's easy to get into. There's so much distractions in the world. I still find myself that I have to center myself. Like I was telling myself, my wife last night, I was like, I'm a bit out of focus. Like my brain is just spinning right now. And she's like, okay, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, well, I'm going to go prioritize. I'm going to say no to some things, and I'm going to focus on them, and I'm going to work as hard as I can. And when you focus things, it will expand. What you focus on will expand. And I think, Matt, you were smart in the idea that you set a date. And I think I know the answer to this, but why was it important for you to set a date as to where you said it's Daniel who runs your media company?
Mm-hmm.
You know, why Daniel was in charge. And it's like, hey, whatever happens next, like I trust Dan. Dan's going to figure it out, but I know I'm going to set a date. Why was that important to you for moving into AI editing?
I needed to have certainty that I could commit and not have emails and fires from Luxury Vision, my agency, coming to me throughout the day. And so I said, hey, I'm going to devote everything I have to training you. You're going to shadow me all day. I'm going to build all the resources, all the SOPs out. So you have every resource that you need to take over. But after this date, like the understanding is that that's on you to be able to figure out. And of course, like he'll still text me throughout the day when needed. There's going to be some niche knowledge, but it's gotten to the point where really like he can competently handle everything. And then we call once a week, to kind of advise, because I have seen the industry and know the niche a bit better. So I still obviously want to help and grow and help him. But back to the topic of one big thing, focus is so important and so underestimated. I couldn't agree more. When we come in every day, all of our, and I still code, I programmed, up until November or December, just myself, until we started having the resources to bring on more people. But each of our developers every day has one big thing, nothing else. And I'm like, don't worry about anything else. Literally just try to do this one thing, because if you do this one thing, it's the highest priority thing to make the product better. It will certainly move us forward instead of getting scattered across a bunch of stuff. So it's like literally every day, you just have to check that box. And then if you didn't the next day, like make sure you do it, because then we know with certainty the highest priority things are getting knocked out, and definitively the product will get better. So couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Our brains like to tell us though, Matt, that the kind of minutia that comes in or the noise that comes in is important to do now, or checking social media, or checking this channel, or did I get an email, or this client who does 2 jobs with me a year needs something. Like, no, forget about that client. Get them within expectations, but you don't need to drop everything.
Yeah.
If you drop everything right now to reply to that client that is nothing to you, that does 2 jobs a year with you, to say that's saying no to whatever your biggest gap is right now to hit your goals. And it's easy in our brains. Like I understand a lot of you're all brains out there. It's easy to get it in there and you get fixated on it. I do the same thing. I get fixated on these ideas. And I think same thing for you, Maz. Like you had to set that boundary, because you knew if Luxury Vision, your rep company, if a question came in, your brain would process it even subconsciously. And that means you're taking away from your big goal, your next big goal, which is to get AutoHDR off the ground, to get the product where it needs to be and to get it launched.
Even now, right? I have big clients that I want to land and have all of their editing on AutoHDR, right? And so if they have issues throughout the day, that's still a thing. Just like a client who needs revisions on their video, like that's something that kind of I need to support on throughout the day. And so it's a question of what fires should you let burn, because it's going to let you to focus on the things that matter, right? Like taking an hour to help out someone who is going to do just a few jobs with you versus using that hour to build out a feature that hundreds of people are asking for, well, that's probably a trade-off where you should go to the higher leverage thing. And then, yeah, sometimes you have to do things that don't scale, but hopefully you can have systems as much as possible, like customer support, VA, et cetera, to handle that stuff. So,
yeah. It's never easy to say no to a client. I get it. There's been clients over the years at Wow, and there's been clients at Spiro that we've had to tell sorry, but we've communicated it clearly. And we've said, hey, we just don't know that we're the best fit for you. We want you. We understand that the last time we did the last few shoots, you've been unhappy with X, Y, and Z. And we don't know if we're the best fit because we don't want you to be unhappy. At that point, the clients can say, oh, no, I'm really not that unhappy. I'll quit complaining and I'll use you. Or no, you're right. And then I say, hey, can I refer you to someone that we trust in your area?
Yeah.
And then you go grow the bigger pumpkin, so to say, that we talk about on here a lot. So, focus is an incredible thing. Switching gears a bit, Matt, kind of a hard turn here. And I don't know the answer to this, but I've looked at AI editing for years. Probably about 3 years ago is when people started contacting me, and I've seen it hit the market. And we've looked at it. How did you do it so quickly? And you don't have to, I'm not asking for the secret sauce, but it still amazes me. How did you freaking do it so quickly? Like, it looks incredible. It's 5 times better than anything else out there. It's better than the editing that we sent out. Like, I look at our pictures, and we have an all hands meeting with the team at Wow on Friday. And I told them, like, I looked at the pictures coming in last night. I'm like, these are not our pictures, in a very good way, like with a smile on my face saying, hey, we got rid of that crap, that gunky crap that we used to have with our HDR images. The windows are clear. The colors are crisp. It's the way we want them to look. I mean, you can give away as much secret sauce as you want. You don't have to but just how did you, it almost seems like too good to be true. What am I missing here?
Just obsession with it, honestly. Because I've tried every possible, I can just tell you, I worked and have worked since we started talking about this in June, 7 days a week on it, all day, just fully devoted to it. And it's been a million different approaches, a million different experiments, trying absolutely everything and figuring out, you see, like, if you use, ChatGPT image models, or you see any of the AI image generation stuff, you look at it and you're like, okay, it can put like me in a virtual background in Star Wars in like half a second. There's no way it can't just edit a real estate photo. This seems pretty easy.
Good point. Yeah.
Right. And so that was kind of my assumption as well. Of course, it's not that simple because those models hallucinate a lot and whatever, but I kind of figured I could just figure it out. I guess a lot of people also say, like, if you knew how hard it was going to be, you probably wouldn't start trying to do it. But it was just, yeah, that is it. Just trying over and over repeatedly, and assuming that someone else has already done it and that it is possible, a lot of the times gives you the mental like ability to think that you can. So maybe in this space it hadn't been, but I just tried to imagine that like it is, and you just need to find the right path to it. So I guess maybe that's not the most clear answer, but no, I basically just said I'm not going to stop trying until I get it. And I don't know, like, I think when maybe if there's other people who work on it, they have their businesses or other experiments they're trying, and they work on it 20 hours a week over the course of 4 years, and I can do it 80 to 100 hours a week over 8 months, then, maybe I can get the same amount of stuff done in that time frame.
Yeah. I agree 100%. I think another thing is just you understand the industry because you were your client to begin with. Like, you understood. Right. A lot of times we get people that come into Spiro and they go, how did you know to do that? And I'm like, well, because I've screwed that up before. Right. So I don't want to screw that up. We've done that. So I think that helps as well. And just even if it's subconsciously, every other company that I've talked to, and There was one company that I really like the guy. He's a really nice. I've talked to him for years. I really like him. I see at conferences. I know about, I know him a little bit more on a personal level, but it's just like, I don't know that the other companies truly understand what we need as real estate photographers. And I don't know, just because you were behind a camera, if that correlates or not.
I mean, that's a great point, right? Like, when you're trying to train a model, you're looking at the output and saying, is this good enough? Are we getting somewhere? And I guess for me, since I had been doing real estate photography for 4 or 5 years myself, critiquing and QCing overseas editing teams, I knew and had a taste for, and granted, I'm in a very luxury market.
Yeah.
And so our photos have to be pretty pristine. And so I knew, like, the most important thing to me is intricate window masking, perfect white balance, bright photos, no color casts, proper perspective correction. So I guess those 4 or 5 years of just having the reps of looking at and QCing photos probably subconsciously embedded in me. Like, when I'm looking at what kind of quality do we need from this model, I had a very good understanding of when I was going down a bad path. I guess it's a good point, because, other kind of competitors are doing AI photo editing, but for them, window pulls it kind of seems like an afterthought. For me, that was like, this is the most important thing, because this is the number one thing that I've looked at over my business for the last 5 years. This is absolutely imperative. So I guess in some sense, it did kind of help guide where we need the quality to be. And that's in terms of quality. And then I guess as well, just like you building out Spiro, right? Spiro's, for me in my business, like a perfect product. It's killed every pain point and automated from start to finish the process, from booking to literally to invoicing, even counting the hours and paying out our photographers. And so you got that. And so from a workflow perspective, we're also trying to do that with AutoHDR. I've used some of the competing platforms, and it's 20 or 30 steps just to try and upload the photos. We've made it very simple, where if you go to autohdr.com, it's a big upload box. You don't even need to be signed in. You just drag and drop your shoot or pick them from Dropbox and you're good. Whether it's aerials or handheld or whatever, that's it. So from that perspective as well, I'm thinking about, if I was shooting, how would I want this experience to be?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's key.
So Matt, I'm going to jump in. This is kind of embarrassing. I feel like the old guy in the room that, I am the old guy in the room. But the old guy in the room that is very skeptical, very cynical, or suspicious of anything new, right? I will admit to you, for the very first time last night, I used ChatGPT. I've never used it. And it was one of those dumb things. I've seen a lot of realtors putting up Barbie boxes of themselves with all their realtor gear. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, one of my clients did a Lego version, because he's like, I'm not into Barbie. And I kind of chuckled at that. And so I messaged him. I'm like, Tom, how did you create that? Was it an AI app or something? He's like, yeah, it was ChatGPT. And, I got the prompt to generate the image from another realtor and just change things. So I did that just on a whim, and I've been a little hesitant to really dive into AI. I'll admit it, I'm that guy. But I know how everybody is just swearing up one side and down the other of how beneficial this is. So for the real estate photography business owner that is maybe like me, where they've been a little hesitant and they haven't dived into this, and they're just a little suspicious, or just doesn't understand can AI really impact my business? Can you give a brief, basic, how to dummy? What's that book? Dummies.
AI for Dummies.
Yeah, AI for Dummies. Yeah, duh. See, I'm encapsulating this wonderfully. Can you give us an AI for Dummies in this real estate media space of what is it? How does it work? And what's the impact it has on your business?
Absolutely. So, yeah, AutoHDR aside, we're all all the AI work that we do is related to an image. And so it's completely different than how ChatGPT works. ChatGPT is basically really good at predicting the next word. That is essentially what it does. And so
Okay.
you feed in words and it outputs the most likely next word based on all of the words that it's ever seen from its training data across social media, the entire internet. It's a big simplification, but it's essentially how it works, and it's really good. And so we actually, at my business, Luxury Vision, we use AI for everything. We are trying to make full use of it. So I'll give you a few different examples. One is writing an SOP. You can go to ChatGPT. You can even just record your voice and say, "Hey, this is what this person is responsible for doing. Here are the kind of things that might come up throughout the day. Draft out an SOP for my business in this niche that they should follow, and it'll save you all the time. It'll just spit it out, in 30 seconds or less, and it'll save you the hours of drafting that. And then you can reread it and say, hey, actually tweak this, tweak that, and boom, you've just saved yourself hours. Or it could be that, it could be a job post, script writing, right? If you have an agent on camera filming a social media reel, you can generate 10 viral hooks instead of sitting and brainstorming them yourself. You can even feed in hooks that you like from videos that you like and say, hey, generate similar ones. You can take the property description that they're listing. You can copy that property description. You can paste it in and say, hey, generate a 20 to 30 second script for a property like this. There's a million things like that that just saves so much time that can just be automated, right? Everything in your business that's mundane can be automated at this point. So those are a few basics.
Okay.
There's a lot more that we do, but generally that's how it works.
So is that the same way with images? So it's just predicting the next pixel that's beside it, or does it look at it as a whole? Or
yeah, there's a few different ways, and it depends on the kind of model that you're using.
Okay.
So there's a class of models that are really popular. So you're talking about generating a Barbie kind of background, right? So what's going to happen in that case is it's called diffusion, and basically it's just going to run denoising on the image where pretend that you had your original image and then you put a ton of noise over it, and the model is tasked with getting rid of that noise and uncovering what that image should look like given the prompt that you gave it. So it's trying to predict what that might look like if it's guessing what those pixels look like. And that sounds crazy, but when you have a model that's trained on millions of images that knows what Barbie is because it's basically trained on image of Barbie and then prompt Barbie, then when it's trying to predict what those pixels are, it's just seen it so many times, it has so many reps with that it can guess. Now,
that's crazy.
Yeah. But it'll also hallucinate crazy stuff, which we can't have in real estate photo editing, which is what makes it such a uniquely challenging problem. Is you can't leverage any of the open source or openly available to the public models like ChatGPT that does such a great job generating new things. It's so impressive, but all that stuff is not real. And when you're editing a photo, it needs to look exactly like the house, just better, but nothing that's not there, which presents a pretty hard problem. Yeah.
Interesting.
Let me ask then, kind of I'll play devil's advocate. Is the model to the point where it doesn't make any mistakes? Or if a mistake slips through someone's photo that they've submitted for AutoHDR to edit, is there a process to correct that if the model happens to hallucinate something?
That's a great question. So if you get a photo from us, a photo like blue sky, no clouds, there is zero hallucinations, right? Like based on the training process and the training data we have, there will be zero things that don't exist in reality there. Now, when you start getting to post-processing steps, like if you want clouds generated, then you're going to start running into, we are generating, we're not like an editing team copy pasting skies with the same daytime sky. We are generating clouds to try and match the vibe of that photo and that angle in the same theme, so they all look like the same day. But when you're generating things, that's when you can start to get things that are not there in reality. Now, of course, in Auto HDR, you can always toggle off and remove the clouds and you're back to square one. Same thing though, if we are automatically detecting and removing cameras, well, something's got to go where that camera was, like a generative fill kind of thing. So it has to be invented. It has to be something that wasn't there. So we will do our best to do that, but we'll always also provide the optionality to say, oh, toggle that off. It puts something there that does not look convincing. Put it back to how it was. That's the core output.
Okay. So there are tweaks that the end user can input to correct.
Yeah.
And so say that same idea, Matt, where the image comes back and we see that there's something that's not expected. It's not that the model never screws up because it just does what it knows. I mean, that's kind of the same with a normal algorithm. It's just doing what it knows. Is there any, I guess, it going to do it every time, or how are you guys combating that? Is it's learning? What does learning mean? Like it's getting better. I know that, and it's only going to get better. I guess it's another question. And Craig, we're in the same era of age. So me as my old man question is like, how does it learn? I guess I just don't get that.
Yeah, it's a good question. A lot of people think that every time they upload photos to the platform, it's learning, but that's a misconception, because we don't just need the raw photo. We need a final edited photo to be able to learn, right? Because just learning, just getting a raw photo doesn't really teach us anything. A perfect human edited photo is what can teach the model, here's what a perfect edited photo looks like. Okay. So it's not. Okay. It's learning whenever we accumulate, all of our data sets are proprietary. We accumulate them. We hire the apps. I screened 200 photo editing teams, all with the same set of photos, and found the absolute best of the best and built our training set off of that. And it's a massive set of photos that are edited and QC'd by our QC team at Luxury Vision to be the best of the best. And it's trained on those. So basically it gets better every time we get more data, and then we rerun a training run, but not every time that RAWs are uploaded to the platform. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. It needs to know that there was a problem, but it needs to know what the solution was. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, when you have a model training in machine learning, you see the prediction from the model, which is the photo that it generated. And then you give it the actual photo that the human edited, and you say, oh, you were off by this much. Adjust your parameters, your weights, your knowledge basically of how to edit a photo by that amount to next time get a better prediction, get closer. That's what training is iteratively doing that process.
That's crazy.
That is cool. That is cool. Well, I mean, it's like I said, we've used it. We're using it with every job now at WOW. So I'm excited about that. Maybe let's take a quick pivot and just how much can we simplify this? Can we just talk about what the workflow is? And I'm happy to chime in. I know you're using the workflow, but if someone, and if you want to see this, by the way, head over to AutoHDR.com. You can drag and drop photos right there and you can see the results. If you want free credits, if you add /Spiro onto that, and we'll link that below, you'll get 30 free credits. Also, just so you guys know, I want to be transparent. I get a little kickback with that. If you don't like me, just take /Spiro off of there and just use AutoHDR. It's fine. I'm not offended. And also, one more thing to clarify is I don't have any ownership. I've been asked this. I don't have any ownership in AutoHDR. Our real estate media company pays to use AutoHDR. So Matt owns and so I'm not in the ownership group of AutoHDR. I asked if I could buy in because I love it so much because I believe in it. And they're not looking for owner, not to go any deeper, but Matt's got a great thing going. So we're excited. We're excited to push it anyways. I like to invest in things we use, but I'm connected because our company uses it and we're invested in, and we're investing time in it and we're seeing the results. So I have no ownership, just to be transparent. I do get a kickback if you use that link. So let's fast forward there. And I probably used way too many words to say that. So sorry, y'all, but you know me.
Hey, Todd. There's AI that could probably help you summarize those thoughts a little bit.
Craig, can you do that? Yes, please. Somebody AI help me. Somebody give me some help here. Coffee's a bad thing now. But okay, so let's say you've done that and you're like, yeah, I think these results are good. And I guess let me take one more tangent and I'll take 30 seconds here. This is what you're probably going to do. You're going to take raw images from today or yesterday or from some time. You're going to find a big house. You're going to drag and drop them into AutoHDR. You're going to wait about 30 minutes. You're going to get an email that says, here is everything. And by the way, you don't have to pay for that. You're going to log into AutoHDR. You'll go to your listings and it will be there. So you can view them without paying for them, which is fabulous. So there's no risk to you. You're going to do a screen by screen. You're going to put your editor on the left side and AutoHDR on the right side. And you're going to click through image 1, 2, 3, and you're going to look at each one. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get a little closer to the screen. And then you're going to get a magnifying glass out. You're going to zoom in. And then you're going to start looking at each pixel. And I want to please tell you, don't even go to step 2. If you sit back in your chair and you have them side by side and you're flipping through and you're like, yeah, this is like the same thing or better, please don't go any further. Your left brain will tell you that you need to find some little thing that's different. And I can tell you that you will always find differences, good and bad. We have found differences in photo editors for the last 21 years. Okay, this is just a new tool for you. Please don't obsess over the output. The output is fabulous. I want to use it on 60, 80, 90 jobs a day at WOW. Okay, so I know you're going to say no, but my market's different. I would like to politely disagree that there's bigger things to focus on. Again, the focus is how can you move your business along and not how can I make my photos 10% better. No, the bigger idea is that you got them back in 30 minutes, that you've streamlined it, that every day of the week it works, that you never have an editor that calls off. You never have an editor that doesn't understand what you want. You ultimately control same day turnaround. Anything that you want to do, you have this new tool that you can leverage. So I'm sorry, that's my piece. I've heard it a lot where I've seen you guys and I appreciate it. I've been there, done that. You as a business owner owe it to yourself to compare and say, can I use this? I would say, please just load them and send them to your clients and get feedback. If your client has something to say, they always will. They did about your editors right now. Just show them how good you are at flexing your muscle of customer service and fixing something for them.
And I think quality is extremely important. And that's why we hyper focus on it every day. But if you're a real estate photographer in 2025, it's an incredibly competitive, almost commoditized market. And you have to decide if you are trying to be an artist or a business owner.
Yeah.
And automate and systemize your business or obsess over every detail. And just like an editor, there can always be a paint color that's wrong that your client is going to disagree with. But ultimately, you have to decide, do I want to be able to automate this, have photos back in 30 minutes at 30 to 50% lower costs, or am I going to take this hands-on approach that I've been doing, right? And so we're seeing a lot of businesses who have been doing this for a decade plus in their local market who are finally able to get a competitive edge because they've maxed out every lever of growth and automation at this point. They've negotiated their human editing team down to the lowest price per photo that team can profitably do. They've systemized as much as they possibly can, but there's no more lever that they can pull except for price. And that's not good for anyone. And so there's finally a new breakthrough for these big businesses. And I'll tell you this workflow that I'm seeing, which is kind of a game changer. And it's
Mhm.
allowing these photography businesses to deliver within 1 hour of shooting. So this is crazy. There are teams that do 30, 40 shoots a day with us that shoot the photos, they shoot them in JPEG, and on site, they have this little SD card adapter. They plug it into their phone and they upload the photos as they're leaving the shoot, going to the next appointment. By the time they're at the next appointment, those photos are done and edited by AutoHDR, ready to go. Their QC team is looking over the photos, making any adjustments, requesting a virtual twilight, doing an item removal, whatever's needed, and then sending it out an hour later. And so now these companies can take more market share, differentiate more, because it's literally impossible for any of their competitors to even come close because they're relying on a human team. So it's just a good way, if you want to be able to get ahead, to start to have another lever in your business, as well as teams really doing it at scale like that. There are some businesses that we've saved that this year are going to save over $100,000 in editing because they've gotten down now to 40 cents a photo. Some teams as low as 36 cents at the very lowest tier. And so that also is giving them profit that they can reinvest back into their business for business development, growth, or, just put back in their pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, Matt. Let's talk through. So let's say it. I mean, I love the idea of putting that adapter in and getting them uploaded to you guys right away and them coming back. Let's say that someone's going to stick with the delivery they're with right now. Just, hey, we're going to do next day, next business or next day. And they're going to upload when they get back to their computer. What does the flow look like for that? And let's assume that they're a Spiro user. How will all of that work?
Yeah. So if you're a Spiro user, you actually don't need to change anything. That's what, we've worked hard. You and I and William and our development team have worked hard to achieve, is that you really just need to toggle on a switch in your integrations page in Spiro and then assign the services that you want AutoHDR to edit. Because, I'll describe what it looked like for my business before AutoHDR. And this is actually why we jumped on Spiro, was because you made this automation where the second that a photographer hit done on site, it created the folder, it notified the editor, hey, here's the raw photos folder, here's the final photos folder. It auto imports the edited images to the listing gallery. That's automated, right? It saves you all the back and forth, telling the editor it's ready to go, importing it, downloading it, all that. But we've basically just replaced the editor step with AutoHDR. So if you're shooting, or your photographers that are shooting for you, they hit done in their photographer portal. That folder gets spun up in Dropbox just like before, same naming and everything, and you just upload. And at that point, Spiro, if you've connected through the integration, they hand off those photos to us. We do our thing, and we edit them. We send them back, and they will land in your listing page in Spiro. But they'll also still go to the AutoHDR listing page, so you can monitor. There's like a little progress bar, like a pizza delivery tracker. And so you can see, like, where are we at? Are we, aligning the photos? Are we doing window pulls? Are we removing cameras? Which step? And then you can also still do item removal, virtual twilight, whatever you need in AutoHDR, but everything will still be, imported automatically to Spiro.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. And just as another note, you also have those images in your Dropbox folder as well. So you're going to get those images. If you're using that for backup, you're going to get them in every place so that it's convenient for you. And then what we're doing at our company is we're just doing a QC like we've always done. Our QC team's going through them on the property website, scanning through them. If an adjustment's needed, if a rearrange or if a delete's needed, they're doing that. They get to the last image, they save any changes, upload anything new if they're changing something, and then they deliver. And that is literally that's the process. You're dragging and dropping All of the maneuvering of the files is done for you. You're looking at the property website and you're clicking deliver. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. And Craig, I
Full
think you saw
automation.
him. Yeah, fully automated. Craig, I think you saw him for the first time. I mean, when you look at that now from the brains of not only a photographer, but from business development with Wow, which, it's important. You got to love what you sell. And we've given the same image for a lot of years. As you look at these things that are coming off, if you look at these images that we're sending out now, just what's your honest gut? Like no holds barred, just honestly, what do you think of them?
Yeah. So the first time, well, I was looking at some images that I just shot 2 days ago, and I know we're run through AutoHDR. And the first thing that popped out at me, just like you said, Matt, was the window pulls. I thought this was our Lux editing, and I'm like, they didn't order Lux editing on this. Oh, it's AutoHDR. There's a marked difference. And yeah, the colors, the clarity, Matt, it looks fantastic. Now, I have run across a couple of things that I sent back to our support team just to double check, because there was a few small issues, but it's nothing that a QC team can't fix very quickly. And it's still relatively young, that this whole AI thing. And like we've all discussed, it will continue to learn as it sees what a perfect output is, and it's just going to get better. Todd, I think you said it in our meeting this morning, that the photos that we're looking at this morning, that it's the worst it'll ever be, which was an interesting way of putting it. And I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So
it is. Yeah, AI photo editing is the worst it will ever be right now. And we don't necessarily send out an email, but we do an update pretty much every day, whether that's something platform related, quality related. We're always looking at what's the biggest quality bottleneck and then just trying to get rid of it. And so, yeah, right now even if we have 100% great quality, no issues ever, you're still going to have a QC process, and you should, right? What if your photographer didn't move a trash bin, or, there's someone sitting in a chair in the living room? You still need to have a set of eyes on that, at least quickly before delivery.
Or a cat sitting on the back of the couch, which I did not see when I stamped the. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, right.
Did that get flagged, Craig, or you saw that?
No, I saw it after the fact, and my heart dropped. I'm like, oh, crud. I just hid that one off the gallery.
But yeah, and you can use auto remove for that one.
There's
always going to be a QC step. And so the things that you have to look out for with AI are just different than what you look out for with a human editing team. So, a weird cloud generation. The human editing team is not going to mess that up, but AI might. Whereas maybe AI is going to be way more consistent on lighting and coloring and all that, because it's got the same training in weights and understanding of editing. So a human editing team, though, might be inconsistent with that. And so it's just different things. And, over time, we'll weed that out.
Yeah, so I always love the goal of fully automating anything. And if you want to set it up in Spiro, if you want to see where it's at, it's very simple to do. Go to settings, then integrations, click external editors, and you have an auto HDR button right there. Click it, follow the prompts, and then all you have to do is check mark the services that need photo editing. We literally create the task for you. You'll be good to go. So we have a knowledge-based article guide as well. Just search Auto HDR. I did a video and then a step-by-step. So we wanted to make it very simple for you to get set up and to streamline all of your photo editing. Matt, just switching gears here again with you. Some things that we saw with our company, and some things that you put in that we really love, and other users love as well. But if someone is going to drag and drop some photos a day, and say, from a global standpoint, the whole set maybe isn't as contrasty as they want, or maybe they want them a little bit warmer or cooler, or whatever some tones may be, can the system accommodate that?
Yeah, so we know that everyone generally is looking for that standard HDR look, but has a little bit of a style preference, whether that comes to contrast or white balance. Some people like it cooler, some people like it warmer, some people like it just crazy vibrant, right? And we want to be able to accommodate all of that. And so if you go to autohdr.com/account, we have a bunch of different style settings, and that includes the white balance, the vibrance, the contrast. And if you slide those, that will be saved permanently and will apply to all of your shoots going forward. And then on a more granular level, we have a gallery. When you're looking at your photos, if it's you, your quality control team, they can do little adjustments and save it right there instead of having to open up Lightroom or Photoshop. And there's also things like auto remove, which is our item removal tool, where someone without any Photoshop skills or technical skills can just circle an item and remove it in 20 or 30 seconds, as well as auto fill.
Yeah, that's I've tried both. That's pretty. What
Yeah.
can you fill right now?
Well, you can certainly try and push the limits, but what it can competently do right now is like fire in the fireplace or a flower bouquet on a counter, something where it's a small and straightforward task. I have tried to push the limits of it and do like virtual staging, for example, and sometimes it can achieve that, but that's not necessarily what it's meant to do. It's meant for small things, right? You could add an image on a TV screen. It's going to look okay, but really fire in the fireplace, flower bouquet, small staging things. It's quite good at, and that's what it's designed for. We also have the virtual twilight button in the gallery. So if you want to do a day to dusk edit, you can click that and it'll start processing.
Cool. And if you want to try that, once you see your final images, click on one of them. And in that modal there, you will have those options to make those adjustments, turn off clouds. Matt mentioned that earlier. So all that's in there, play with it. And again, like, I don't want this to come off as a hard sales pitch. And we use it at our company. I wouldn't suggest you guys use something. And again, we've looked at companies for years, but it's not going to cost you anything. Like, just go try it. I think it's worth your time to see what the option is out there.
We don't want anyone to be charged for outputs they can't use. And so we've employed we have it so you only pay for what you download, right? If you get back results and for whatever reason they weren't grouped right, or the sky mask wasn't perfect, any reason, like, we don't want you to pay for bad outputs. So you don't get charged. You only pay for what you download, and you don't even need credits to upload and see the quality, right? So it is, in that sense, risk-free. I would not want you to overnight say, hey, I'm done using an editor and I'm replacing it with AI, for the sake of your systems and like trying it and making sure the quality is what you need. And so we see people do like 10, 20 test shoots and actually go and they will download it and send it to their agents before fully switching over, because you should have the confidence in the systems to be able to support you before just like jumping ship overnight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think that again connects back to that you just understand the community because you are a real estate photographer. You wouldn't do that to your clients. So love that. Looking down the road, I always love, like, what's the roadmap look like? What are you guys thinking about? What might be coming or what is coming? Can you share anything?
Yeah, we think about a lot of stuff, and there's so much cool things we can work on. But like we talked about, focus is so important. And our focus is creating images that are as good as the best human editor or better with time. And so we want to offer to real estate photographers absolutely everything revolving around the photo shoot. So we've already done virtual twilights, item removal. You can use autofill to do fire in the fireplace, but something that we're going to introduce with time is automatic fire in the fireplace. So those style settings won't stop at brightness, vibrance, contrast. We're going to introduce a toggle where if you toggle that on, fireplaces will be automatically detected and have fire added to them. Right now, we have camera removal that is automated. We're working to get that hit rate higher and higher and higher. As well as another thing that's going to come down the line that's been highly requested is realtors' signs in the lawns being automatically detected and replaced. Another thing that's going to be a profile setting. Do you want us scanning for that and removing that? Again, like I said, anything that you need, right? Anything that I can think of in my business I've ever been asked for, we're going to provide. So another sneak peek, just like you have that virtual twilight button in the gallery, you can expect a green lawn button for your post-processing where you'll be able to go through your images, and if it's a dead lawn, hit a button in 30 seconds or less, have it replaced with a beautiful green lawn. And we're not
That's
just going to
cool.
have it where you do that one at a time. We're working on it so you can select all of the ones in the gallery that you want, then hit one button and have all of them in parallel edited and get that back in 30 seconds. So that's a little sneak peek, and we'll just keep going
Oh,
from there. Yeah.
that's amazing. I love that. And maybe along with some of those things, um, we can, I think about options on an agent level. So does this agent want something different? Do they want, I know we have some agents that never want fire in the fireplace,
Mm-hmm.
because when you put fire in the fireplace, you are a buyer is assuming that that fireplace actually can hold fire or does work. So I know we have some agents that have been burnt by it before, because through inspection, it came up that the gas fireplace actually doesn't work, but our photos had fire in them. So, we have notes on that agent, but maybe we could even build some of that into Spiro, Matt, where on an agent level, you're saying, yes, add fire, don't add fire, or yes, add this image to TVs, or whatever the preferences are. But I think that's the further automation as to where, like, hey, just set it one time, or maybe we let the agents do it. I don't know. There's some cool stuff that we could do.
Yeah,
with
when
that.
booking. Like you could have, this would be pure automation. When booking in the add-ons, if they add virtual twilight, if they add green lawn replacement, fire in the fireplace, that could be just extra margin that the real estate photography company is getting. And then we'll know that parameter by default when we go to process that shoot, and just do it fully automated without you. Again, we're trying to eliminate all the back and forth. And so that could just be one more step towards that.
Yeah, no, that's some cool stuff. Well, Matt, it's been a pleasure to talk today. Thank you for the insight, the history. If someone has a question, again, tell us, how can they try to system? How could they reach out to you if they need anything?
AutoHDR.com, drag and drop box, take your most recent shoot, the last few shoots, try it out. We recommend for best results, you can upload any RAW file format, fully compatible. We see no quality difference with JPEGs. And so for sake of speed, shoot JPEG, shoot 5 bracket, 2 EV. So we have the most dynamic range to work with. 3 brackets fine too, but that's just our suggestion. And just try it out, see what you think, and shoot me any questions at matt@autohdr.com. We'd love to hear feedback. There's also a feature request board on our website. If you click contact, you'll see it. So we also have our knowledge base there. If you're curious about seeing the automations more in depth, seeing how you can get the best results. So yeah, I appreciate you having me on. It's awesome talking to you. And thanks for your advice as well. Like, you've built out a software for real estate photographers. So having your support and advice while I've been building this, getting ready for the launch, has been honestly invaluable, because it's someone who's done it before in the same niche. So thank you for that, and for the time that you've given to me.
Oh, well, you're too kind. It's all my pleasure. I'm excited to what it's going to allow our company to do, and the turnaround time and the quality increase and the savings. This is truly a win-win. So thank you for what you've done as well.
Yeah, we'll just keep growing it, making it better. So yeah. Thanks for having me on today.
Hey, our pleasure. Well, that's going to do it for us today. If you have any questions, again, you can get that on AutoHDR.com. If you add a /Spiro, you're going to get some free credits when you sign up. You can also, our team at Spiro is well trained on the integration, on the working. So if you need us, you can always get us in the pink chat bubble in Spiro when you're logged in. So feel free to ask us. We might say, hey, that's an AutoHDR question. We have a good knowledge about it because we use it. So we'll be happy to help as well. And then send us feedback. Please do. We want to know what's on your mind, what you're thinking. We always love feedback. You can get me at hello@spiro.media, or just ask for me in the pink chat bubble and the team will tag me. And that's feedback about AutoHDR, or anything about Spiro, or what you like to see coming up. So we always love to hear from all of you out there. All right, everyone. Hey, it's picking up in the busy season. So please focus on those things that are going to move your business the furthest along. You're going to, feel extra busy now as those shoots pick up. But please find time to take a breath and enjoy the blessings that we should be thankful for. We'll see you all next week.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.